So we're going to feel just a little bit into it and we're going to let it out, maybe with like a groan, like this. Ugh. There's all different types of traps that we find ourselves in, and this is the time to take inventory of that. Actually, pull out your journal next time that you're noticing that insecurity, noticing those negative feelings, and start to unpack, what is this trap that I've found myself stuck in? It's not your fault. And the more that you can learn about what that trap is, what's happening within you when your plans are changing, whether it's frustration or whatever it is, there's no shame about this. Even if you go immediately, like the first setback you have, and you're like, abort mission, I hate everything, I hate myself, all of that response is valuable to observe. And you can take this observation to someone like me or another professional, or you can talk about it with ChatGPT, right? There's so many resources out there for you to help you start to unpack this response. And a lot of people talk about nervous system regulation in healing work, and this is what it is. It's when we realize, wow, I just made my child food and they sprayed it all over the wall. What the hell? That is where we need the nervous system regulation work. And it's not going to work in that moment that your child is spraying the food all over the wall. There's no amount of deep breaths that are going to work in that moment. We need to do this work now, before we're in that situation. And every single time, I know that you guys are aware that I lost electricity completely out of my control. My car is on fire, out of my control, like all of this stuff. And I feel so calm. I don't know if you can see it in my energy, but I really do feel at peace in all of these things. And the reason I feel that way is because I spent years of my life regulating myself, doing meditation work, talking about these things, asking myself these questions before it got to that point, before I was in the situation that my car is on fire. Because when you're in that situation, we know breaths don't work. It's just, right, like my car lit on fire in a no service area where I was on a mountain. It was, this is a really, really scary situation. And EFT tapping type of stuff is not going to help me in that situation. I needed to be cool, calm, and collected so I could get myself out of there and protect myself and make the right decisions in that moment. And the reason that I wasn't freaking out, even though, I mean, I would call myself freaking out, but I was still able to navigate the situation. So it's not as freaking out as I could have been. The reason that I wasn't freaking out as much as I could have been is because of this conversation that we're having right now. This is what makes us resilient. This is what builds that thick wall so that when someone says, hey, you're ugly, or you'd be really bad at that, or whatever bullshit someone's going to say to us, or difference of plans that we're going to be facing, we're like, yeah, God wanted to experience that change of plan through me. God wanted to experience this through me. So what am I learning? What am I figuring out in all of this? I didn't have this practice planned for us today, but I want to share this practice with you because it's a really, really, really valuable practice when you're facing frustration, when you're facing feelings that are bigger than yourself. Some of this is called emotional flooding. Big insecurity, big examples that I've shared so far today, we know what I'm talking about. We can know that it's not our fault. We can know that we're doing our best, and your body might still be going through the process of fear. So even in that car example, logically, I got myself to safety, everything's fine, and my body was still going through a response of, I'm in a life or death situation. I'm freaking out. I could be on fire. So our bodies literally go into this response of like, I'm running at full speed from a bear. We go into that every time we get an email notification, every time someone cuts us off on the freeway or whatever it is. So, this is what nervous system regulation is all about. It's being able to bring yourself down from that point, which isn't just intellectually noticing that there's no bears around you. It's also being able to actually, on a deep cellular level, let go of all of the irked stress that you were experiencing. When an animal goes through, I wish I had this video prepped for us, but I'll share it in the community later on. There's a video of a deer that was running from a lion and it was trapped in the jaws of the lion. So it's in a full adrenaline response, full fear. It somehow got away. And when it got away, the first thing that it did was a full body shake off. Had to shake off all of that energy because all of that energy keeps us in this heightened stress response. And our bodies are biologically wired to keep us safe, whether it be from a burning car, from an email that could be critical, from a conversation that maybe is a little bit uncomfortable and threatening to your ego, right? We're going into this response just like we're in the mouth of a lion in all of these situations. And this is why it's so important to do whatever it is that you need to do. There, my dog's demonstrating it for us, to shake it all out. So it could be exercising a few times a day. Maybe you go on a walk in the morning and at night. I know some of the people here love to do that, and that's really beautiful and really amazing. Maybe it's taking a moment for yourself. When I was in that heightened situation and my car's on fire and everything, once I could determine that everyone was safe, that my car is where it is, like all of that, I said to all of the professionals, the mechanics, the police, like everyone there, I said, I need to go on a walk. I'm going to be back in 10 minutes. And I went on a walk and I cried and I allowed my body to just do whatever it is that it needed to do because it kept me safe in this really scary situation. I don't need their support because I'm crying and I'm shaking and I'm so overwhelmed, but I needed to allow my body to go through that just like the deer. So when you get that email or when you're startled or whatever it is that's happening, being able to notice and notice that your body is getting a little dysregulated. You're starting to spin upwards into a dysregulation and then bringing yourself back down to a more regulated place. So the practice that I love to do when I'm feeling absolute extreme anger or a lot of that tension, anxiety, frustration, like hotness in the body, if you can relate to this feeling, I like to do this exercise with a towel. Going on a walk is great, but if I'm feeling really heightened, guns hot, I need to do something a little bit more like this first. So there's a time for us to do those sensual, sexual practices that can be really regulating for your nervous system. There's a time to go in the garage and punch a punching bag as much as you can. That can be regulating for the nervous system. There's a time where maybe you just have some things to release, and going on a walk and just letting it move through the body could be regulating for the nervous system. So if you don't have a punching bag, but you need some of that energy, I am gonna believe that all people need more of that punching rage room energy. We don't necessarily have like a safe place to put it. So you can use a towel in order to get out some of that rage or hot or itchy type of energy that you know is not yours. Or maybe it is yours, whatever it is, however you want to think about this. I allow myself when I'm feeling dysregulated to fully feel whatever it is that I'm feeling. Because this is what my body's feeling, just like the deer. If you need to shake it out, if you need to go to the bathroom, whatever it is, allow yourself to do it. So this is just a normal bath towel, and I'm taking it and I'm just twisting it up like this so that there's some twist in there. And then I'm going to hold either end of this bath towel. Sorry about the light. Oh my goodness, this light is not helping us. So I'm holding either end. And then you can think about something that you want to let go of or something that you want to release. I often do this exercise when there's a lot of stuff right on the forefront of my mind, so that part is not hard to think about what I'm angry about or whatever it is because it's right there and I'm just so angry. So then what you're going to do is you're going to twist the towel and squeeze your hands as hard as you can. And you can really let all of your energy and strength into this. And as you do that, you're going to let out a big exhale. And your exhale can sound audible. So when I do this, and I've done this multiple times this week, you guys, I just had no electricity. I just was in a burning car. Like, of course, I'm doing these sorts of exercises. That's why I'm here smiling in front of you today, because I do this kind of stuff in my free time. So, what that's going to look like is feeling into the emotion. And if you're feeling a really big and scary emotion, allow yourself to just feel 1 or 10% of that emotion. So we're going to feel just a little bit into it and we're going to let it out, maybe with like a groan like this. Ugh. And you can grimace with your face and really let all of that tension out and go into that. And if that's one repetition, try 10 repetitions. Just letting go of the different thoughts and the things that are on your mind. And this is a template. You don't have to do this with me right now. This is something that you can use next time someone really irritates you. Yesterday, someone ate my food that I was saving for myself. And I was like, I'm so hungry. And that's so annoying. I just went and got myself that food and now I have to go get myself new food. So, yes, this some people might say that this looks like an adult temper tantrum or whatever it is, but the reason that it's so valuable to do an exercise like this is because you're funneling the energy in a productive and healthy direction, as opposed to holding and harboring and projecting a little bit of anger and frustration and passive aggression on everyone around you, even the people who weren't even in your house when your food was eaten and things like that, because you're a little irked about that, you know? So even if you're a little bit irritated about anything, you can use this exercise. And this is a healthy outlet for difficult emotions.